Okay, guys, now it's time. So we will be starting our session. Hi and welcome everyone. My name is Avneesh and I'm a software engineer at Optimizory Technologies Private Limited. Okay, so today we are going to learn about Prisma. So, what is Prisma? So, Prisma is an open source database toolkit that simplifies database access and management in our modern applications. We can use Prisma for anything, like from REST APIs to GraphQL APIs to full stack applications. Okay, so what Prisma provides? So Prisma provides type safety and catches data related errors at the runtime. Prisma, we can use Prisma with like JavaScript or TypeScript, any, but it highly encourages the TypeScript because of its type safety features. It is typically used with relational databases like Postgres, MySQL, SQLite. You can also use it with NoSQL databases such as MongoDB. And what really cool is that your code and your model is not going to change based on your database. So you could just swap out one for the other just by editing the .env file and changing your DB credentials. So like it's not the issue that you have to use the SQLite, MySQL, or any preferred database. You can use any database of your own, and it will automatically generate code based on your database schema. Okay, so we will look for the .env file in our coming demo. So be relaxed for that. Now we will move through the presentation, and after that, at the end, I'll show you a short demo how Prisma works and how to perform the CRUD operations. Okay, so we'll just move to the presentation. So what is our today's agenda? So first is introduction, automating database migrations, like how we automate the database migrations. Third is managing the complex relationship, like how we manage the complex relationship in the Prisma. Fourth, ensuring the data consistency. And at the end, we'll look into the some best practices and the tips for using the Prisma. So now, like why Prisma? Why we should use Prisma? So Prisma is the next generation ORM. What ORM means? ORM means object relational mapping tool. Like it maps the object relation to each other. What it does, it simplifies the complex database management. What it supports, so it supports the automated migrations, handles complex relations, and ensures the data consistency. So that's why we prefer to use the Prisma over other ORM tools. So now a slide like what is Prisma? So I already told you what is Prisma. So Prisma is a powerful ORM, object relational mapping tool. What it provides the type safe database queries, simplifies managing complex data models, and it supports various databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQLite, which I told you already. Like there is no restriction for a particular database. You can use any database of your choice, like whichever it suits your application, like whatever you are using. So, like there are three main components in the Prisma, like Prisma Client, Prisma Migrate, and Prisma Studio. So, what are these three? So, what is Prisma Client? So Prisma client is like it's auto-generated type safe. We can say it's a query builder for Node.js and TypeScript. So you can use any TypeScript application that includes full stack application, REST API, GraphQL API, whatever it might be. It handles all the things. Second component is Prisma Migrate. So it is a declarative data modeling and migrate system. So it is designed like how it is designed. So it is designed to simplify and automate the process of managing your database schema as your application evolves. Like whatever changes you make in your application, It will evolve automatically according to that. And it is designed to preserve your existing data during the schema migrations. So sometimes it happens when you migrate, like your schema is migrated, your existing data might get lost. But this is not the deal with the Prisma. So using the Prisma migrate, all the things become very simpler and effective in use. And the third component is Prisma Studio. Like it is a graphical user interface to view and edit your data into the database. So like during the demo, at the end of the demo, we will look what is the Prisma Studio, how it works, and like how it can be the like game changing in the Prisma. Now, automating database migrations. So, what Prisma does in automating database migrations, like what it means. So, what it avoids manual SQL changes. So, whenever in the database we do the manual SQL changes, so during the database migration in the Prisma, it is totally automated. Like we avoid all the manual SQL changes. It is a version control for database schema. It provides consistency across the environments, like from the development staging to the production environment. Like all the things are automated, all the database migrations are automated, so you don't need to worry about anything. Now, managing complex relationships with Prisma. So, like, what are the features of managing that? So, first is easily define one to many and many to many relationships. So, like, it is very easy to define the relationships between the models. So, we will look into one of these models in our live demo where we will create a relationship between a user and article. So, we'll get it to it into the live demo. It reduces the boilerplate code. So Prisma is very helpful in that. Also, Prisma automatically handles the foreign keys and joins. Like you don't have to handle it manually. Prisma automatically handles all these things for you. What else? So Prisma uses a schema file that is with the schema.prisma extension, where relationships are defined using models and fields. So this point will also we will look into our demo. So where we will define a model, where we will define a fields, and we will create a relationship between them. Data consistency across relationships, like how the data consistency is maintained across all the relationships. So what Prisma does, like during the data consistency, so Prisma enforces referential integrity between all the related tables, cascading deletes, required relations, and unique constraints. It also avoids inconsistencies when handling all the complex data models. Also, Prisma ensures that relationships between models are consistently maintained through foreign keys constraints. And also, Prisma validates data at the application layer before performing any database write operation. So, before any write operation, it validates the data at its end within the application layer. So, you don't have to worry about that also. Now, so these are the best practices. Like I have already told you about what will be the best practices with the Prisma. Like why we should follow Prisma, why we should use Prisma. Okay, so what it does, so keep your Prisma schema in sync with your app logic. Like the best practice is that always your Prisma schema should be in sync with your app logic. Like whatever app logic you have defined, so it should be in sync with the Prisma schema. Okay, and also use migrations for the database version control. Like Prisma already provides us a Prisma migration, so we can use that. Also leverage Prisma's type safety feature by using TypeScript to catch potential errors during compile time rather than at runtime. So I already told you earlier that Prisma supports both JavaScript and TypeScript, but it highly encourages the TypeScript because of its type safety features. Regularly test migrations in a staging environment before production. So before moving to the production environment, always test your migrations in the staging environment. For large data sets, always implement pagination to avoid loading too much data at once. So if you use the pagination, so we will be differ of like there will be two load on the data, so that should be avoided. Also, be cautious with deeply nested writes as they can become complex and slow down performance. So we should follow the method that we don't deeply nest the all the commands and all the queries so that it cannot become complex. Okay, so now for some of you, like it will be all new concepts like what is data modeling. So just let me give you an overview about that. So data modeling is basically it is a process of defining the data requirements and structures of system. So during the live demo, we will see like what are the models, how we define the models. So okay, so like that's all from slide point of view, like the theoretical part. So now we will move to the demo part where we will look all the aspects of the Prisma. We will do the CRUD operations like creating the data, reading, updating, and deleting. And at the end of that, we will look into the Prisma Studio, like that was the graphical user interface for the Prisma. So we will look into that. Okay. Okay. So now I already have created like a demo folder for our live demo. So this is the demo folder, Prisma demo. Okay. Now what we will do, we'll create a package.json file. Okay, so we'll write a command for that, but just let me move the terminal to a little bit low. Okay, so we are going to create a package.json file. Okay. Okay, so as we can see that we have created a package.json file. So now we will install some dependencies and also we will install the TypeScript. So for that, we will write the command install TypeScript ts node add types node. Okay, so as we can see that we have node modules folder here and also TypeScript is installed. Okay, so now we will initialize the TypeScript. So for that, the command is initialize. Okay, so as we can see that we have new tsconfig file. So the TypeScript is initialized. So now what we will do, so the our main work starts here. We'll first install the Prisma. So for that command is npm install Prisma. Okay, so Prisma is installed here. So as we can see in the node modules folder, we have a Prisma folder here. So the Prisma is installed successfully on us system. Okay, now what we will do? Now we will initialize the Prisma. We are just going to add a data source provider. Okay, so it's totally up to you. You can decide what database you are going to use. Like it's not the foundation that if I'm using some database, then you have to also use that database. It's totally up to you. It totally depends upon your application. But make sure that is installed on your system. So okay, here I'm just going to use SQLite because it is simply a DB file and we don't have to install anything extra. So the way that we create our model and write our code is going to be the exact same, whether you are using SQLite, whether you are using MongoDB, whether you are using SQL, whether you are using PostgreSQL. So it doesn't matter. Whatever the code you write, whatever the model you create, it is going to be the exact same for all the databases. Okay, so I'll write a command. I'll provide a data source provider, and my data source provider is SQLite. Okay, so now we can see that we have many files here. So inside .env file, we can see here we can describe our database credentials. So for now, I am just using the SQLite. And also in the comment section, you can see that it supports string format for PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQLite, SQL Server, like all the databases it supports. So there is no need to worry about the type of database or any particular database that you are using. Okay, so now we'll go to the Prisma folder, and in Prisma we have schema.prisma file. So what it has, okay, so in the schema file, so this is going to be where we model our data. Okay, so at the start I told you about data modeling. So here we will model our data, whatever we are going to use. Okay, so as we can see, we have some parts here. So first we have data source. So there, this is where we define our connection. Like we'll define the connection for our database. Second, we have generator. So what this generator does. So this is where we define the Prisma client generator. This is what generates the Prisma client for you. Okay. And the third part for that, there are two parts. So the third part is model, which is obviously not here. So that's what we will define. Like we will define the model here. Okay. So for your purpose, like here, I'm going to use a user model and an article model. And also, I want to have a relationship between them where a user can have multiple articles and an article can have users. Okay, so now we'll create a model. So for that, we just say model and whatever the model name is. So I'll take the model name as user. Okay, model name is user. We'll create a ID for it. ID will be of type integer. And by default, I'll add the auto increment. So like whenever a user is defined, so the ID automatically gets incremented. Okay. Now there will be some email. So for this user, we'll have some email also. Okay. Okay. Guys, am I audible? Uh, are you able to understand like I'm explaining everything? Okay, thank you, Sonu, thank you, Shiva. Okay, now we will define email. So email will be of type string, obviously, and also we have name for that user. So the name we can give the name as optional. It doesn't matter, and then it will be article. So why I have done it array, because a user can have number of article. Like it is not necessary that a user has only one article, it can have number of articles. That's why I have created it as a array. Now the user model is created. Now we'll create a model with the name article. Okay, and also the article will have the same integer ID. Like I'll copy paste it from here. Like article will also have ID. Every article will have its own ID and it will get incremented automatically. That's why I use the auto increment feature. Now there will be some title for that article. Also there will be some body for that, like body or content, whatever you can say. So it can have that also. And the third one is like author. So here what we are doing, we are creating a relationship between the, like what is the author, like who will be the author of the article. So it will be defined by this relation. Okay. So here I'll provide the author ID, which we will define right now. And here will be the references for that. So reference will be the ID of the user. No problem. And now I'll create a author ID. And it will be of type int. Okay. So we have done this. The model. So we can see that we have created two models here, user model and the article model. Okay. So we'll now we can run the migration. So you will see what migration does. So for that we have command npx prisma migrate dev name init. Okay, so as you can see, so our database is in sync with our schema. So now our schema and our database is in sync. Okay, so if we go to the dev.db, so as you can see, like we are not able to see it. So we will look into it in the Prisma Studio. No worries for that. And also if we go to the migrations, and in the migrations, we created a file migration.sql. So you can see here, like we created two models, user and the article. So for the user, ID is a primary key, and for the article, ID is a primary key. So all these data is like whatever the model we created here in the schema.prisma. So that is generated in our database. Okay. So now what we will do? Now we will use the Prisma client to interact with it, because without the Prisma client, we cannot interact with our database. Okay. So create, now let's create a new file, index.ts. Okay. So for that, so it's index.ts file we have created. Okay. So what happens here is, whenever we will run this file, whatever queries we will put here will run. Suppose if you are building any application, then all this thing will be done by you within your application. So it is just a sample. So I'm writing the query here in the index file. Okay. Here we are not dealing with any specific UI. We are just dealing with the Prisma in this TypeScript file. So like I have added a sample for that. So just give me a moment. Let me copy paste that so that it will be easier for you. Okay. So here will be our Prisma. Okay. We'll import the Prisma client from here. Okay. So Prisma client is here, and no need to worry, I'll tell everything about that. So what we did in this file, like I just copied a sample for it. So we imported a Prisma client from the Prisma client. We created a main function here. So this main function is where we'll write all our queries in that. Okay. And then there is a main function which after executing it, it will get disconnected. So we have used this with the dollar disconnect. And if there is some error, so it will like generate an error in the console, and after that it will get disconnected. So our main part is like we have to write some queries in our main function, so we'll move to that. Okay. Mm, just give me a moment. So what we will do now, we'll create a user in our main function. So initially, what we were going to do, we'll create a user, we'll create an article, and we will create a we will maintain a relationship between them. Okay, so that's what we will do here. Okay, so I'm just going to create a user. Okay, so I'll use the feature of the Prisma, that is create function. What it will do, it will inside this user we have some data. So I'll provide data for this user, like whatever the data this user handles. So suppose I want to give the name. So okay, suppose I'm giving my name, then I'll give the email which I defined earlier in the schema, that the email will be of type string. Okay, and name also will be of type string, so I'm just providing it the string. So suppose I took that abc@gmail.com. Okay, so here as we can see that we have created a user here. So now if you want, then we can test whether the user has been created or not. Okay, so for that, we have to run this file. So for running this file, we have command npx node index.ts. Okay. There is some error. Okay, no problem, just give me index.ts. So the file is here. So it is. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm resolving this. So it has been done. And if we have created the user here, some function main. Okay, and we have created a Prisma user here. Okay, just let me add this. We have uploaded perfectly. Hmm. Okay, sorry, there was some issue with the index file. Actually, I created it index.ts. No problem, I'll run this again. Okay, so as we can see here that we have ID1, so like it is auto generated, and email that we provided here ABC, and also the name of niche Singh. Okay, so like the user has been created. Okay, so it was only for one user. Now suppose we have multiple users and we want to get all the users, so I'll show you for that also, like how we can get all the users. So we have find many function here. So right now, like we have only one user here. Okay. So if we run this file again, then suppose there were around 10, 20, 30 users. So all the users will be shown here. All the users will be visible here. Now what we will do? Now we will create an article also. Okay. So for the article, we'll follow the same steps, like article is equal to await prisma dot article dot. Now we'll create an article. Okay. Hmm. Now also we have to give the data here, like what will be the data of the article, like there will be some title, like there will be some title of the article. So like we have in like in the article model, we have given the title and the body should be in string. So the title I can give is, this is, okay, give it first sample, first project. Okay, first article, and body. So there will be some body also for that. So this is first article. So here's the title and this will be the body. Okay. And also as we can see in our article model that we have defined the author also. So we just have to write here like who, like this article belongs to who, like who is the author of this article. So we'll do that also. So after the body, we'll have a author field. Okay, so we'll have the author field, and now there will be a field connect. Okay, so what this connect does is, like, to which user this article has the connection. So I'll provide that ID 1. So now we only have one user, so I just have provided that. Okay, and after this we have, okay, so like in the article we have a data field. Inside that we have title, we have the body, and we have the author. So who is the author? So I have connected it to the ID 1. Okay, also we'll console it so that we can see whether the article has been created or not. Okay, let's run this file again. Okay, as we can see, so the ID is one for this article because we have created a single article. The title for that, the body and author ID means it is connected to the Avneesh, that user that I have created earlier. Okay, so as we can see, our article is associated with ID1. Why this is happening? This is happening because we created a connection earlier. So where we created a connection here in this article model that it will be associated with the user. Okay, and also we can get all the articles like we did for the users, so we can get all the articles in the same way that we give for the user. Okay, just now let's move to, also we can do the opposite. Now what I have done, I have created user, then I have created an article, and then I associated that article with the user. So we can do the opposite, like we can create a user and then associate with the article, or we can create the article. We can do the just opposite. It doesn't matters. Okay. So let's create another user and I'll associate the article in the same. Okay. Let's go to here. So it will be the user Prisma dot. So I'm creating another user for that. So const user is equal to await. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to provide the data here. So what will be the data for this user? So suppose I'm giving a name here. Just let's take an example for Ayush. And also I'll provide an email for this user. So suppose I'm taking it ABCD. Okay, and the name and email I have provided. And after that, like what we'll do, we'll go for the articles. I'll create the user and I will create an article, and I will associate both the articles and the user simultaneously. So for the articles, we'll have a create, like for the article we have a title and we'll be having a body. So I'll name this second article, and the body will be, this is my second article. Okay, so we have created a user, we have created a article for it. Okay, now suppose I want to verify whether that user has been created or not. Let's just comment it out. Okay, and we'll get whether this Ayush user has been created or not. So we can see that the ID is 2, the email is ABCD, and the name is Ayush. So as we can see that the user has been created. Okay. So now as you can see that it does not show the article associated. So if we want that articles associated with them should be also shown, so we can modify the logic. So we are just going to modify the logic for that. No need to worry, it will be const users await Prisma user dot. So we'll use again the find menu function, and like it will give all the users with their included articles. Okay, so what I'm including, I want to include the articles, so I'll just do this, And after that, so I'll console the users. So it was user, just comment it out. No need for this. Okay. Now we'll run this file again. Okay, as we can see that we have ID1 and ID2. We have these two users. Okay, and the articles, like there is an array form, like there can be a number of articles. So that's why it has been presented with the array form. Okay. Now we have read the data, how we can read the data. Now also we can do the looping, and now I'll show you how to update the data. Like if I want, then how I can update the data. Okay, so for that, const user is equal to Prisma always uses its there are various inbuilt functions, so everything becomes easier with the Prisma. So I'll use that update one. So what it will do, it will update. So now I have to define where I have to update. So where I have to update, I have to update it in the ID one, and in the ID one, what we have to update. So that will be the data. So in the data, what field I have to update. So that will be the name. So it was Avneesh Singh. So I'll be just doing the Avneesh. So has been done. Okay, I'll run that users where we can get all the users. So I'll run this. I'll okay. So here I'll run this command. Okay, no need to run this one. I'll console the users. Mhm. Okay, I'll comment out this one. Now we'll see. So I'll run this file again. So as we can see here, let me show you in the terminal. So like the ID is one, email was that. Previously it was Avneesh, so I just update. Previously it was Avneesh Singh, so I just updated to the Avneesh. So now it's updated. So we have successfully performed the update operation. Now if you want to remove some data from a database, so for that, suppose I want to delete an article. Okay, so await prisma dot article dot delete. Okay, so where which is the article that you have to delete, so it will be of ID2. Okay, and then I'll console it, like I'll console all the articles. So in the article, so I'll do the same for it. Okay, so instead of user, we'll add the articles. It will give all the articles, and here will be articles. So let's just comment out this one so that we don't have. Okay, so as we can see that the second article has been deleted. Only we have one article right now. So we have performed the write operation, we have performed the read operation, we have performed the update and the delete operation. So that was all about the CRUD operations. Okay, so now at the last, as I have told you earlier, that I'll show you the Prisma Studio and the effective way to associate articles with the user, and also we can create articles through this GUI. Okay, so let's just run this command, npx Prisma Studio. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the graphical user interface for the Prisma. So we have created article and user models. So these two models are showing here. Okay, and like if you click on the user, then we can see that there were two users here, Avneesh and Ayush Singh. And also if we go back to this, so we can see that we have only one article here because we just deleted the another article. So previously we were having two articles. Okay, and if we click on the article, so we can see that with the ID one, we have first article. The body is like what is the content of that article. So this is the first article, and who is the author. So we can also see here who is the author of this article. So if you click here, we can see that Avnish is the author for this article. Okay, so this is the power of a Prisma Studio. Also, we can add any article in here. Suppose I want to add another article. So the ID will be auto incremented. We just give the title sample article. Okay, and the body, this is sample one. And so, like if you want, then we can provide the user also. So okay, this will be auto implemented. And so we have option here, like the new article that we created, sample article. So we have the option here to like to associate it with which one user. So suppose I want to associate it with Ayush. So I just did that and I'll save. So now if we go again, now we can see that we have in the model we have two articles, two user in the article. So this was a sample article which I created. So the ID is 3 because the ID 2 we just deleted. So that ID, because the ID gets incremented, auto incremented, so that will not be visible. Okay, and if we check the user, so the user is here. I can reassign it. Suppose I want to reassign it to the Ayush. I'll change, I'll save the changes. And if you go to the first article again, then we can see that it has been assigned or associated with the Ayush. So that's the power of a Prisma Studio. Like you can maintain your database from the Prisma Studio itself. You can add the record. So like I explained you, here, we did it using writing all these codes, and then like then we maintained it here, like we saw the outputs on the terminal. So using the Prisma Studio, there is no need to do that. Okay, you can just click this one or this one and it will be. And also it provides the filters also, so you can add any filter that you want. Like suppose you have large number of data sets, so you can do that also. Suppose I want to add a user also, so we can add the user also. Suppose it is ab@gmail.com. Name, mm, name will be anything. Suppose it's Avnish 123, and I'll save the changes. Okay, so it is a primary key. That's why we are not able to see it. Also, we can like from here we can also associate the article. So this is the user record. Suppose I want to associate article with the Avneesh. So I'll just go here. I'll click both these, and these both will be associated with the Avneesh. Okay. So that was all about the Prisma Studio. Okay. Uh, okay. So already, like we have talked about the best practices with the Prisma, like what are the best practices that you should follow with the Prisma. So at the end, I just wanted to share some insights about should you use Prisma or not. So Prisma is a good fit if you are building a server-side applications that interacts with the database. You care about the productivity and developer experience. You value type safety because Prisma encourages to use the TypeScript, and only it is only the fully type safe ORM in the TypeScript ecosystem. So it's a good fit for your application. And why Prisma is a bad fit? Like why you should not consider the Prisma? So if you do not want to write any code for your background, so the Prisma is definitely for not you. You want to use raw type safe SQL for querying your database. So what happens is like what Prisma allows. So Prisma ORM allows you to send plain SQL queries to your database. Okay. It might not be the best fit if you prefer working with the SQL based abstraction. So, what is the main feature of the Prisma? So, Prisma ORM's main benefit is to provide an abstraction layer that makes you more productive compared to writing the SQL directly. So, that's how the Prisma works. And also, I'll try that in our future sessions. We'll give you an insight on like latest trending technologies that we are using and that is coming across all the applications. So that's like it might be helpful for you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. It was a long session. So sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed the session. So uh, now let's get to the questions. So how do you tackle with the risk of data loss or corruption? Yashar. So we have a Prisma migration feature. So during the schema migration, there will be no loss of your data and not even the corruption for that, like it will not get corrupted. And due to the use of TypeScript, so there will be very type safety features also. Thank you, Sunil, for your valuable comments. Uh, okay, guys. So it's very late also. Thank you for joining, everyone. So we will be ending this stream. Thank you for joining. We'll meet in a future sessions also.